Okay, so this is the demo for vectorization of handwritten or hand-drawn design work. It's best to do it very darkly with pencil. Marker can work, but marker lines are real thick. Sometimes that can lose detail. So pencil can be good, or ink pen can be good too. But let me first pull the image that I want to vectorize into Illustrator. And there's my image there. So I'm just going to drag and drop this image over into Illustrator. Actually, that's not the image that I want. Okay, so I'm going to drag and drop this other image into Illustrator, and we'll get to see the difference between poor image scanning and better image scanning and the result. So here's the first image that I scanned. I'm in Illustrator. You know, again, to get around in here, Control, plus, and minus will zoom me in and zoom me back. And there's my first scan, and that's not too good. The vectorization part of Illustrator, it really needs really clean, sharp, defined edges to work correctly. So I'm not going to even bother with this one. It really won't work well. It might be best if you scan anything at home to scan in black and white and to increase the contrast. So this probably is going to work pretty well right here. Scanning anything in Illustrator, Illustrator actually crunches and destroys your original image. So always make a copy. You know, Control-C, Control-V to copy and paste, and that's going to end up being your best bet. So let me just vectorize this one real quick. Whenever you bring a raster image into Illustrator, it recognizes it as something that can be scanned. Whenever you click on and select a raster image, then image trace is active, and that's your vectorization software. So if I click on this, and if I click on it, it just will do a default trace, but I'd rather do a manual trace. Don't do high fidelity anything. That will create too much pixelization basically, and you really need something that's really simple. We're just going for black and white, so I'm just going to do a black and white logo. It's telling me, you're going to see this pop up. I'm going to scan these at really high resolution. This is just warning me that this image is high resolution and it might produce a big result. That's okay, so go ahead with it. And what I'm also going to do is go to the image trace panel. And the image trace panel is going to it's doing crazy stuff. Is going to let me adjust the contrast of the image, also the fitting, you know, the smoothness of the lines that are occurring. If I go to some of the advanced selections here, you know, I can control a little bit more. And what you're looking for is ideally whatever you made is closed. And when you're drawing everything, make sure you close everything up. Make sure there aren't any openings. That's so important, because if there are not any openings, then you actually can fill these in with other colors. This looks pretty good. You know, I don't see any openings. So if you vectorize something and it looks like it doesn't have any openings or anything like that, you need to go ahead at that point and expand it. That's always the first question students ask. Why isn't this working? I hit the image trace button. I say, did you expand it? That's the next stage. You'll know you've gone to that next stage when you can see the vectors. The vectors are all the points, all of the grabbable edges that you will be able to see on the objects that you're creating. So that now is a vector element. It's no longer a raster image. So at this point, I can try to ungroup this object. To ungroup it, right-click, ungroup. click off. This is the class where I get to tell people to click off. And I've got this large exterior object right here. And what I'm going to do is give it a color. If I look here at my color options here, I can see that it's got a white fill and no outline color. So real quickly, I could give that, any color. Right now, do notice this. Y'all are going to run into this. If I scan in grayscale, when I vectorize the object, it's still grayscale. So if I want to go to a color model other than gray, in my color palette here, click that little bitty thing there, and I can then go to a RGB color model and do something different. But I just wanted to show you that. I'm actually going to get rid of this space here. To get rid of this selected space here, I'm going to do backspace or delete, and that object is gone. I can go to outline mode, Control Y, or View, Outline, and it lets me see the vectors, in an X-ray sort of way. I can also select objects here to get rid of them. I like to use a hollow selection tool when I'm doing cleanup. So I can do a drag selection box around those elements there, backspace or delete. Whoops, I got the C. Whoops, I got the C. Okay, backspace or delete. So that's pretty clean. Control Y will toggle me out of outline view. Now these objects should be, for the most part, grouped. Do notice that has an interior fill right there, but I'm going to go ahead and group these so that I can work on them, space them out a little bit. So if I select that, Control G to group, I can move it out so I have more room to work. Control G to group, so on and so forth. But once I have an object like this selected, I need to start working on some of the interior colors. But to demo the interior colors a little bit, let me put another object behind this. And let me give this object just a color so I can see it. I want to change the order or the arrangement of this object. I want to send it behind the others. So I'm going to right-click on it, Arrange to Back. And that way it's behind the others. And that gives us a real good indication of this still has interior fills on it. And this is a group object. This E is a grouped object. So I want to get rid of that interior space there, but I don't want to ungroup it. It's actually much better to have this group. So what I'm going to do is, instead of the main dark selection tool, I'm going to use the light selection tool. That light selection tool will let me grab one part of a grouped object. So select that, and to get rid of it, backspace or delete. And that's gone. So, but now I want to fill this with colors. Again, I'm going to use the hollow selection tool. Select that one area, hold down Shift. Select that area, hold down Shift, and I got all three of those areas now. And at that point, I could put a color in that. Again, if I want to get out of grayscale, go right there, and I could put another color into that. And this, what if I wanted to, these elements that I've done, what if I didn't want them to be sort of have a fill and an outline? What if I wanted them to be just one simple shape? If I wanted to simplify this. The way I would do that is, first let's ungroup it, and then I'm going to reselect it and just give it one color. And that way it still doesn't look 100% correct, but the way that I would fix this is I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool to select all of it. And again, I'm going to toggle over to outline mode and see how complex it is. And I want to simplify it. So I'm going to simplify that with the Pathfinder tool. So if you don't see it, you go to Window, Pathfinder, and I got rid of it, so now I got to find where it was hidden. Oh, yeah, it's attached. I don't know how these got stuck together. There we go. That's better. Okay, so with the Pathfinder tool, there are basically two commands I use with it, either unite or divide. So I want to unite all of this, but do remember, if you want to unite something, they've got to be ungrouped. It won't work on a grouped object, so you've got to ungroup it first. So I'm going to unite all of that, and now it is a much simpler single form, and that works so much better. One of the things you can do with vector forms is you can get vinyl cut, like for windows and stickers and stuff like that. And this is the only way it will work if you simplify it. It won't work if it's too complex. So let me show y'all the real quick work through for this also in Inkscape. Your working file type in Illustrator should be either an AI file or a PDF. If you want to do work in Illustrator and then later open it in Inkscape, you need to save it as an SVG. So, but let me show you this work through in Inkscape. Let me copy this, open Inkscape, and into Inkscape I am going to just do a paste command, Control V, and nothing happens. So let me try a drag drop command. And I want to embed this image. And there it is. And Inkscape is not as robust a software as Illustrator, but it works perfectly fine for a freeware. I want to rotate this, so I'm going to click on it another time, and that changes my command selectors there, and I can turn it the opposite direction. I'm going to shrink it just a little bit. Anytime you're shrinking, hold down Shift. Whoops, that doesn't do anything at all in here, does it? That's an Illustrator command. Okay, and the commands to vectorize in Inkscape is under Path. And Inkscape calls vectorization tracing. So I'm going to go to my Trace Bitmap window. What I like about Inkscape, if I hit Update, it will give me a preview of what the vectorization would create. That shows nothing yet. So normally I will try to do it in grays. It does it in levels, the number of scans that you do. So you don't need a lot of scans. I'm just going to take it down to 3. I'm going to hit Update again. That's still not, whoa, yeah, there it is. It's seeing something now. I can't really tell the resolution because I can't really get close enough to it to see. You do have the option to remove the background. That could be good or bad. But I'm just going to hit OK now to go ahead and do the vectorization. We'll see what we get. That doesn't look too bad. And again, what we're looking for are closed areas. You don't want to vectorize something and have open areas. That way you're not going to be able to put shapes into it. So this resulting image, here's my original image here, but the resulting vectorization needs to be broken apart now. So the way that I'm going to try to break this apart, first I'm going to right click and ungroup. That worked. Like I said, I did 3 scans of that raster image. So there's the background scan. Here is another scan, probably in one color. And here's the last one. And it looks like this last one might be the best bet for having total, complete, closed shapes. Whoops, it's not what I intended to do. It looks like this one over here has openings, and that wouldn't work right there. I wouldn't be able to do a fill into that. So to work on this one over here, again, what I'm going to do with it is I don't have the option to ungroup on this, so what I'm going to do in Inkscape is go to Break Apart, see if that works. That works. You can see all of my interior shapes. They are still inside. I can't really see them, so I'd have to clean that up. But in Inkscape, you can also do a outline display mode. Like right now we're in normal, but I can go to outline and actually see everything that I need to work with for cleanup. So I'll be scanning all of your stuff. It will be available for y'all maybe today if I get enough of it scanned and upload it. but